On this week's episode, the swirly of death.
And flames on the side of my face. Let's do this. Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And this week we're going to talk Season 10, Episode 6, Ask Jeeves.
Indeed we are. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Is Ask Jeeves still a thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If it is, it's probably run by AI.
Like everything. But yeah, I'm
I think,
good.
Yeah, I think Ask Jeeves is ChatGPT.
Yeah, pretty much. That sounds right. But yeah, I'm good. I've just been busy. How about you? You've been jet setting? Jet
setting. Went to the annual Edwardian Ball in San Francisco. It was wonderful, as awesome as always. There was can dancers, and Aerialists acted out the Edward Gorey story, because if you don't remember from last year, the Edwardian Ball is not about the Edwardian era, but is in fact a tribute to Edward Gorey, and is just an excuse for people in San Francisco to dress up fancy and weird. And so I go there because I like to dress up fancy and weird and be around other people who do the same. And it's also nice, like, especially when you're in kind of a smaller conservative town, to just sometimes go to San Francisco where you can walk around and just feel normal, and like nobody looks at you twice, and you are just a normal person. And once again, I saw a homeless person who was just screaming their lungs out, and I was like, man, you're so lucky. And I was like, can I just join with you? Like, that seems nice. Like, how about we just yell together?
Huh.
So, but I did not yell in the street. It was very close to it, though. It was close, but someday. But yeah, San Francisco was wonderful, except for the fucking rain. It rained all 4 days and was like 40 degrees, 50 degrees. So it just damp. You know what I mean? It just like everything, like you never felt warm. You never felt dry, no matter what. But my hotel did have a bathtub in it, because that's what I do when I travel is I search for a bathtub, since I don't have one right now. And so I did have some time warming myself in a bathtub. So that is my main vacation goal. It's like, you don't have to find a fancy spa to go to. I just need a fucking bathtub and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Priorities.
Yep. And anything in your world? I know you had something that was exciting.
Yeah, we pulled off our big event, Punks and Pokes. So yeah, I know. Yeah, and I got poked at Punks and Pokes, but I got tattooed, not like that. Anyway,
I'm like, damn, you and Babe are getting adventurous there, and that's at your work too. You whore.
Yeah. I got tattooed at work. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and like a legit tattoo, not something sketchy. But yeah. So no,
I think it would be cooler if it was sketchy. If you were just like, yeah, I was just behind the bar, someone took out a ballpoint and they just started going to work.
Would it? I don't know. I mean, the story would be cooler.
I mean, you'd have hepatitis, but
and I'd have a tattoo probably. But yes, yeah. So no, it was cool. You know, we raised some money for charities. Got to put on some fun music. It was cool to be like at a show at my work. That was a show that
you would go to.
My friends were excited about, and that I would normally go to too. So it was cool to be a part of that. Anyways, so yeah, it was super cool. And then I think and I went and saw another band, because of course I did. Went and saw a really cool local band to Dallas called Cure for Paranoia. Oh, at that show I got to see Bowling for Soup, and then 1100 Springs Reunited, which is Matt Hillier's band, which is punk and country, thus the Punks and Pokes theme. Pop punk, yes, but anyway, so
I'm like, you use quotes around that shit, but go on.
It's called pop punk. But anyways, and then there's really cool. I guess they would lean into hip hop band named Cure for Paranoia. I got to see the other night. But yeah, so that's been my little. I've been very busy.
Some of it with a job in your life.
So
Aw.
busy with works. So yeah. Um
All right.
what I got.
So Supernatural Land, there really isn't a, like the news has been pretty quiet. Oh, no, it hasn't been. No, there is something that happened. I don't know. I need to do the follow up of it. So there is a big to do last week because Netflix is taking off Supernatural at the end of 2025. That
Uh-oh.
is the going rumor because they're fighting with CW. Now, there is a chance that another streaming service would pick you up, like Hulu or somebody else, and move it over there. But I don't know. Things are up in the air, so we don't know what Diana's going to have to get a DVD player or something.
Shit. I think we just pulled ours out. I'll see if we still have it or if we got rid of it.
I think you can. I think you can probably buy it off of. If you want to give Jeff Bezos money, like you can probably buy it off of Prime or Apple TV or something. I'm sure like those places sell it. But yeah, so I'll need to follow up on that. I saw that on the Reddit board last week, so that is a potential big to do. Yeah. So we'll keep posted on that.
Be big because I feel like it does get a lot of watches on there, so that would be interesting for sure. But they also Netflix also does cycle shows in and out. Like it's not like just because they're on there doesn't mean they're on there forever. So
right, and I think I read that like in Canada they could watch it on Prime, and so like depending on which country you're in, there's different licensing agreements with Warner Brothers, whoever owns them. So. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very intriguing. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you posted. So this episode, however, we're going to talk about season 10, episode 6, Ask Jeeves. And it first aired November 18th, 2014, and was directed by John McCarthy. We last saw him direct Rockin' a Hard Place. That was season 9, episode 8, and was written by Eric Carmelo and Nicole Snyder. And we last saw them season 9 doing The Purge. All right. So Netflix apparently, speaking of Netflix, and maybe it's not a bad thing, they're just skipping all the thens now. Yeah. And so the then recap events for this one, like they went through the various monsters the Winchesters have fought. That was kind of like there was a foreshadow. And I think it's stupid. Like those things are artistic and they should be left in. Yeah. They're not it's not a recap. Like I don't understand unless that's a licensing thing too. I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, because it's not just yes, it's not a recap. It doesn't reset me from last episode. It kind of sets the tone for this episode, but it's not a recap of where we're at in this specific season necessarily. So I agree. It's kind of odd they've dropped them.
I don't know. I'll dig through, maybe that's something I'll dig through the Reddit for. So, all right. So we don't get that. What we do get is New Canaan, Connecticut.
Yes, with a mansion and a baby blue Rolls Royce out front. And we go inside and there's a portrait of a woman and her dog. And we find out that she is deceased and was very, very rich. She was the lady of the house. And the butler, who we find later, his name is Philip, he is discussing with two house staff, aka they call them maids later. That's not my word. That's what they call them. That family's coming over to read the will. And so Colette, one of them, you need to go select the burial wardrobe. And Olivia, you need to go clean the bathrooms.
Yay. So you get to pick an outfit and you get to clean the toilets. Sounds totally fair. So we go from that into the rich person's closet. Rich people, you have the best closets. So
they do.
Yeah. And she's just picking out like typical boring old lady Chanel suits.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still take one. But
I never, like, God, if you ever see me in that fucking suit, I don't know, something's wrong. You need to call someone. Call someone immediately.
That's your alarm.
I don't know, like there is a lizard person inside of me, like something is happening. Or I'm just not well.
Cool with it. I think I could do something cool with it. I think I could pull it off. I don't know.
I'm sure you can. I just like in your head, I'm sure you can. I think it's also because I have, a former boss who loved those suits, and I think I have PTSD from them.
Yeah, I don't have that.
It's a very New York rich lady suit, and between New York rich ladies and Florida rich ladies, like I had a lot of them in those suits. And I'm sorry, rich old ladies. Specifically old ladies.
Yes. Well, Colette gets distracted after selecting this boring ass suit and decides to play with the pearls.
Because of course you do.
Yeah. And she puts them on. Like, there's no insinuation that she's hiding them. She just throws them on, but she hears a noise and goes to inspect it. And then apparently the old lady's ghost is there, scares the shit out of her, and she falls off the balcony and dies in a very dramatic scene. I will say, she falls.
It was very dramatic, and she had like the cuts all over her arms with the little bitty like things inside them that made it look like she was all decorative. It was really pretty.
Yeah, because she fell on the glass table. The glass, I called it a glam bloody mess because there were roses and broken glass and pearls and blood, little bit, not like a blood splatter. It was like a nice little tasteful bloody cuts everywhere. It's like, okay, this looks like an album cover.
Yeah, or a music video.
Yeah. So, and the butler looks up and sees the old lady and says, "What have you done?" But he doesn't seem particularly shocked.
Yeah, he's not surprised. He's just like, "What'd you do?"
Yeah.
This seems bad.
Yeah. So we cut to Dean is working on baby outside the motel, and Sam is going to bring them a teeny tiny cup of coffee that Dean is going to bitch about. But they really are just looking for a case.
Yeah, well, he's happy because it's glazed donut flavor. And, at first I was going to say it was espresso, but it's not espresso because espresso doesn't come in glazed donut.
Exactly. So is it espresso or is it just way too small of a cup of
he just didn't know how to use the automatic coffee machine, and he pressed like the 6-ounce button, the 4-ounce button instead of pressing an 8-ounce button. He could have gotten a regular cup of coffee.
Or you just make 2 4-ounces if you really have a problem with it. You just need to make more than one. And I don't know. I've done that with a Keurig more than once. Somewhere I'm like, this is not enough coffee. Bring me more. Anyways, so Dean's like, look, I haven't found a case in the news. Everything's pretty quiet, but I did find one of Bobby's old cell phones, and there's a voicemail from 2 days ago that we need to hear because apparently Bobby was named the beneficiary in Benny LaCroix's will.
Bunny.
Not
Benny. Benny is a hot vampire.
No, Bunny.
No.
Bunny. Not Benny. Bunny LaCroix. And Dean thinks that they qualify as next of kin for Bobby since Bobby's gone.
Yeah, seems fair.
So they're going to pull up to this mansion, and there's a bunch of, expensive Euro cars. You know what I mean? It's all your Mercedes and things like that parked outside. And he and Sam's like, maybe we should put on our, quote, Fed threads, which I thought was funny, that are in the trunk. And Dean's like, nope, we're going in underdressed as we are in their normal flannel attire.
He's just happy he doesn't have to put on the fake suit. He gets to be himself.
Yep. So they get to the door, and the Olivia, the other maid, if you will, answers the door, and she's like, well, you missed the funeral, but you can come visit with the rest of the family. And they're all there, and they're like trying to get the family's there, and they're trying to guess who these guys are. And they're like, hey, we're with Bobby, who's dead, but we're
not the Westchester Winchesters, but we are fresh meat for you lovely ladies to ogle.
Yes, because Hetty is really into Dean. Beverly is into Sam, and then we've got somewhat, I guess you would use the term cougars.
Slightly cougary.
And then we've got, of course, a brother to the deceased.
Stanton, and like we say that, and I would really like to compare those actresses' ages with Jensen's and Jared's, and I'm pretty sure they're probably not that far off. So I'm just saying, probably not that cougary. No, it's just fucking television.
That was the.
I know that was the theme. That was the theme, but I'm just saying it's fucking TV.
Yeah.
Anyways,
for sure. So we got Stanton and his younger wife, and Dash, the nephew. So okay, we've got all this. Anyway, so. The butler comes in and is like, oh, by the way, Colette quit. Let me when the will's not gonna be read till tomorrow. By the way, can I talk to you, Sam and Dean, because we need to talk privately.
Yes, and Colette quit and went to clown college in Sarasota.
Of course she did, because why else would you quit working there but to go to clown college?
Which would be in Sarasota, which is smart. That's where the Ringling Art School is.
Oh, okay. So that's accurate. Good trivia note. Either way, the butler's like, look, you don't really need to stick around and mingle with the family. They're just a bunch of money grubbing leeches. So he gives Dean this envelope and says, by the way, I don't know how Bunny and Bobby knew each other, but here you go. Take this. It's hard to say.
I know, Bunny and Bobby. That also sounds like a song.
Bunny and Bobby does sound like a song, or like, I don't know, like a weird kid's
or
cartoon.
Porn. All right, so
in this envelope is a really fancy cross necklace.
It's a weird cross thing, and it's fancy, but it's yeah, why did she leave Bobby this weird cross thing? Like, and my thought, like, if I was Sam and Dean and they're just like, oh, like, you know, it's jewels on it, I would be like, someone left something for Bobby and it's weird and it's fancy. Like, it's probably cursed. Like, or is it, you know, what does it do? Like, what kind of magical object is this? Not just like, it's Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with this object is my first thought.
Yeah, I wouldn't just be like touching it or like doing stuff. Like, I would assume it was cursed. That would be my assumption. But
yeah, so but Dean's immediate reaction is, these people are rich. Let's take this to the pawn shop right now. Okay, Dean, this makes sense. Whatever. So they do, and he's like, this is fake rubies and CZs. But did you notice it's got a giant key inside of it?
Ooh. Or if it seems like a place people would hide drugs in. That's my other thought when you see stuff for... Anyway. All right. So then we go back to the house and Stan and Amber are fighting.
Yeah. And he is accusing her of being a cheater, and she's accusing him of being drunk and paranoid. And it compares him to Lance, who was Bunny's husband and who apparently always accused Bunny of sleeping around. And he's like, because she did. So, I was like, oh well. I was like, oh, that's terrible. Oh well, no, maybe not. Okay, but he describes his deceased sister as a quote two-bit hooker in Chanel.
See, he didn't like those suits either, and yeah, so she calls him a jerk and storms off and goes and locks herself in the bathroom.
She's like, "You're a jerk. You're talking shit about your dead sister. Leave me the fuck alone," and hides. Yeah, and then he hears someone whisper his name,
Stanton,
and he starts following that voice, and he follows it down the hallway, where an old dude, aka Lance, who is long deceased, steps out with a giant axe and beheads him. And
yeah, I'm just gonna say right now, like, if you were in a room and you hear a creepy voice calling your name, don't go to it.
No, you don't follow it?
You say, I would be like, you come to me. Like, I'm not going to come find you. Like, you come here. Like, no, like, then you can fight with that voice. But, like, no, if you follow it, you get beheaded.
That's true. I was teasing. Yeah, you do not follow that. That sounds like a terrible idea.
It sounds like a terrible plan.
That's like being the first one to investigate the basement. Fuck you.
Hearing shots and running towards them.
So, either way, he gets beheaded. Amber steps out just in time to see this and scream. In the meantime, Sam and Dean a little while later, Sam and Dean arrive at this house and they notice there's a cop car there. So they know this is bad. And the butler is not being very hospitable this time when he answers the door, and talks shit about like their attire, which is
rude.
Really, yeah, like real weird.
And
like,
unnecessary.
He wasn't like that before. It was really weird. And then our detective walks up and it's like, oh, you were here earlier? BT dub, that means you're murder suspects, which really doesn't make sense, but okay. Because they were gone before this murder occurred, but okay. So they're going to be detained and have to stay at the house now. We've got Dash, Hetty, and Beverly arguing about whether Amber is a murderer or not. And Hetty's like, yeah, she's cheating and she's got a really strict prenup. So yeah, she's got motive. Ta-da. And but they vocalize that she's claiming that the ghost of Lance did it. But so
and that raises the boys' case flag, and they're like, "Woohoo, we've got a case!" But they can't get to trunk, so now they're like, "Now we have to go old school, like old school, because we can't use EMF," which I think is pretty old school to begin with. But they're just gonna go look for cold spots.
Yeah. They're going to go wander around. Well, Dean's going to go wander around while Sam stays with the fam for a little bit. And so Sam is trying to talk to Dash. And he's like, you seem pretty chill for just having lost 2 people. And he's like, yeah, you want our family secret? Is we don't like each other like most families. And he's like, but I also know Amber didn't do it. She's not capable.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. I have a rant. I had a rant in here about that because he goes, we don't like each other like most families. And Sam's like, my family likes each other. And I'm like, really, Sam, your family? Like this entire show is about how you and your brother have a fight every 3 months. And your dad was a shitty father who wasn't like around. And maybe and you ran off to Stanford because you didn't like your family. So anyways.
Yeah, but they both love Bobby.
Okay, anyways. So
I know, I kind of thought that too. I'm like, oh, they're real loyal to each other, but they don't always seem to like each other either. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. So Dean is walking around. There's paintings and taxidermy, and he gets up to the police line. And
very well guarded crime scene. Connecticut CSI has also just wrapped this up in a hurry.
Oh yeah. And he is next to a bookshelf, and on this bookshelf is a book with a cross on the spine that matches the cross on the necklace. And so he pulls it and it opens to a secret door.
Yay! Secret door! We love a secret door.
And that secret door is locked. Or there's a locked door behind it. Back in the study or whatever, or not the study, whatever, the sitting room.
I call it the parlor. That's what I like.
Parlor. That's what I can think of. So Dash is continuing to tell Sam that Lance was a bastard. No one mourned him except for Bunny. And when Lance died, Bunny went recluse. So at this point, we get our detective back in, and Amber is done being questioned. And now it's Dash's turn. I also think it was weird that they are consuming alcohol. Would the detective be cool with that? Does the detective care?
I think the detective would like them to be drinking alcohol, because I thought about this too, because I think they would also make their stuff probably slightly inadmissible. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if it would be admissible. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I would probably say get a lawyer with you.
Well, yeah. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, can they? I don't know. Well, Dean is going to unlock this door with the key necklace thing with the CZs in it and go inside, or he opens the door and it's a creepy ass stairwell into an attic that is not well lit. And it has rope and a pole, a piece of pipe sitting right by the entry, which is super sus. It is.
Yeah, so it is a pipe and a bunch of rope. And that is the first clue Easter egg they have laid into this episode, which is a whodunit episode, if you haven't figured that out. And this is, kind of a themed way they wanted to do things in the past. They'd also just released the Clue, Supernatural Clue. So they're probably wanting people to sell it. So I bought Supernatural Clue because of course I did. I got it off of eBay. And it is too hard for us to play on an audio podcast, but Diana can see the board, which is, it's set up so it's like a traditional Clue board, but instead of having rooms, they have locations, right? So the idea of the Supernatural Clue is that it's a hunt, right? Oh. And so the case file. One of the main characters has been possessed by Abaddon and opened a gateway to hell. It is up to everyone to hunt down who has been possessed, what mystical object was used to open and can close the gateway, and where it was opened. To win the game, you must find out 3 things. Who performed the ritual? What mystical object was used to open the gateway, and where was the gateway opened? So since we can't play traditional Clue, what we're going to do is every time they drop a clue in here, I'm going to give Diana a chance to, Diana has the score sheet they provide with the clue. I gave her a copy of it, and maybe we can share it on the gram or something so you guys can see it. But so what this is basically, if you ever play Clue, it's like a logic puzzle, right? And so you get to mark off what things you need to get. So in order to win, Diana's going to need to figure out the location, which is hard because there's like 10 locations to choose from, a suspect, and there's going to be 6 of those, and an object, and there's like 6 of those too. So there's the chances of Diana winning this game are slim, but we're going to give it a try. So if you guys, you can all look this up online too if you wanted to see how to play. But the suspects. All right, so there's 6 characters that may have been possessed possibly by Abaddon, and so those are Bobby, Castiel, Charlie, Dean, Sam, or Crowley. I'm glad Crowley is a character. The objects, one of the mystical objects that was used to open the gateway, they have John Winchester's journal, Ruby's knife, 4 horseman rings, a revolver, a first blade, and a demon tablet. And when you get the game, you actually get those. See, God, I wish I was an influencer and people would just send me this shit. So they have like the metal versions of all the objects. So we have ODT, like I've got a little tiny version of that now. Yeah. And there's a tablet and a little tiny revolver. I'm sorry, I just knocked my mic a bunch of times. The little tiny revolver and the revolver. And the horseman's rings are like, their 4 rings are put together. Oh, yeah. It's well done. Like, I think they did that really well. So, and then they have like different cards and stuff. So in the game, you would be moving around the board and getting to ask these questions. But for time's sake, and just because, well, nobody wants to listen to us play Clue, and maybe you do, I don't know, but let us know if you want us to. Like, we
can figure that out. We can figure it out.
All right. So, Diana, you have got your sheet in front of you, and so this is your first chance. All right. So you get to ask me where you think things are, and I will tell you if you're right or if you're wrong. So, location. Where do you think they are trying to open? Are they opening the gates of hell? Is what they're doing.
Is it in the Southwest?
Is it in the Southwest? It is not. No. All right. So you didn't get that one. Okay. Suspects.
Is it Crowley?
It is not. Very sad. You think I would have put my boyfriend in there, but I didn't. I didn't lock him up. All right. And your last chance on this one on objects. You want to guess an object?
Is it the journal?
It is not. All right. So we will be back to this the next time they drop a clue.
All right. Whew.
All right. So in addition to the pipe, there are creepy dolls and a half-eaten sandwich.
Yeah. Which means that there's somebody like that's been there recently. And it is Olivia. Well, first, there's a dead person rolled up in a rug. And Olivia is in there crying. So we find out that according to Olivia, Philip locked her in there because she wouldn't lie to the detective. And that's Colette's body rolled up.
You know, they never check. You know, it's knowing what you know later. Like, I guess that's another thing that leaves in there. But they only show the feet.
They only show the feet rolled up in a rug. And nobody ever, like, goes and gets her body. It's very odd. Very odd.
Colette. Like, she's just, like, thrown to, like, you take better care of your staff.
That is not Sarasota.
She is not in clown college. She is not.
So, down in the parlor, Sam is playing cards with Hetty and Beverly. And Dean's like, yo, look who I found. Here's Olivia. So they're going to have a sidebar. And Dean's like, look, apparently the butler is the one with answers here. And this looks like 2 vengeful spirits now.
2 vengeful spirits, not just one. We have 2.
Yeah. And Dean's also BT dub. There's this hidden attic that's super sketch. And that's where there's a dead Colette in there.
And clown college Colette? And no, she did not go. And Dean thinks the butler is covering for the spooks like a Renfield field.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, we need to split up and look for Philip. And they start to do that. And the detective comes in to look for Sam as they're doing that. So Sam runs into Beverly, who really wants to bang him.
Yeah,
Like,
and she
too
says
much. You're coming on too strong, girl.
she's coming on very strong and is making everybody uncomfortable. But then she says she's like a fine wine or cheese, and then I want cheese.
Well, I also appreciate that comparison. She kind of balks at it for a second, and then she's like, yeah, I'm going to fucking own that. I am like fine wine or fine
I'm
cheese.
like good cheese. I am like a gorgonzola, damn it. It's kind of stinky and a little blue.
Oh, no. Dean is wandering in a different hall where he locates an old pipe wrench. And oh, yes.
All right, so Dean has got a wrench. So we have another clue that has been dropped, and we're just going to go around the horn. All right, let's try for another location.
Let's go Pacific Northwest.
It is not. You're not getting beer. You're not. All right, well, let's try a suspect.
Charlie.
It is not Charlie. Womp womp. No hot lesbians for us today. All right, let's try objects.
Demon tablet.
No! Womp womp.
Damn.
We will have another chance coming up for this very soon. Okay, so Dean has picked up a wrench.
And he goes into the, it's the butler's quarters, right? Okay. And he finds Philip and he's like, hey, tell me about dead maids in secret rooms. And Philip's, at this point, Sam is noticing in the kitchen that a knife is missing from the butcher block.
It's a clue! All right, so Sam has got a knife. All right, location, once again.
Let's do southeast.
Womp womp.
Damn. Okay.
Suspect.
Oh, let's say Castiel.
Womp womp.
And let's say revolver.
Womp womp. All right. So, but remember, every answer that you don't get makes you one step closer to figuring this out. I think you have one more chance. You can do it.
Oof. All right. The location's the hard one. There's a lot of those.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you have two more. Yeah, you have two more chances.
Okay. Well, Philip is telling, so we've got this Sam investigating whatever's going with this mess in the kitchen, missing knife and some liquid on the floor. Philip is telling Dean that I hid Colette so it wouldn't steal Bunny's thunder. So basically from her death, which is really sad and gross because he was really loyal to Bunny.
Sure.
But while he's talking to Philip, he gets a text from Sam saying that he just found Philip dead. So Dean turns around and that gets thrown across the room by quote unquote Philip, who is a shapeshifter.
Yes. And we now learn that they are definitely a shapeshifter because Dean sees the goopy shedded skin.
Ew.
It's been a while since we got to see that goop.
Ew. Again. So Sam and Dean are inspecting Philip's body together in the kitchen. And as they're doing that and discussing shapeshifters, Olivia walks in and screams. Because she just found her boss is dead. I mean, reasonable, right? And Sam's like, no. It's actually like fine, but it's actually kind of worse than ghosts. So go get the silverware for us.
Yeah, well, Dean's kind of mean to her too. It's just like, you could help, you could help. And then he's just kind of rough, and that's how we get to the silverware. So they go and they grab all the silverware and go to the parlor.
Yes. And Hetty and Beverly are swiping through dating app together. They're like, well, he's ugly, but he owns an island, about one of them. And I'm like,
Girls gotta eat, girls gotta swim, so...
Sam interrupts and scooches between them, all cute and flirty, because he has put exposed silver, like butter knives, in his sleeves so that he can touch them and see if they react to the silver. It is a.
Wouldn't you still react to a cold knife?
Like, why is there metal in your hand, sir?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't think, but okay. So. Sure, they're just very desperate and they don't care.
No, don't care. And Dean is searching still but he hears music in a hallway and he grabs a candlestick.
Clue! Okay, here we go.
All right, let's try Great Lakes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay!
All right, we found our location.
Let's try. Ooh, I'm gonna go Bobby.
No, womp womp.
Okay. And I'll say, let's go with Horseman Rings.
Whee!
Okay,
all
so
right.
I know where and what. I just got to figure out who.
Figure out who. We have one more chance to do that. So we are in the Great Lakes with the 4 Horseman Rings. Okay, so let's cut to Dash and Amber making out in the closet.
Yeah, because that's what this disruption is that Dean was going to investigate. And so he's like, what the hell is going on? And they're like trying to play it off, but he's like, I'm going to make y'all touch the silver. It's weird.
That's a strange thing to make people do.
Yes. But either way, they finally Dean goes back to the parlor and Sam's like, they're clear. He calls them Grey Gardens, which isn't very cool. That's okay. Anyways.
My future. So.
Well, we hear another scream because Olivia has found our detective drowned in the toilet.
Yeah, he got a swirly, and this seems like a terrible way to go.
Swirly of death.
The swirly of death.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's very distressing. I was like, that is a terrible way to go.
And then they all just start pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah, it is kind of comical. It's a little. I mean, it's a not. I don't know. It's a little traditional comedy. I like that.
No, well, more traditional whodunit type.
Whodunit, like comedic whodunit.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, and then we start getting like the real thing. Hetty's blaming Amber and Dash mocks her for it. But then Dash is like, by the way, no, we're in love. And at the same time, Amber's like, we're sleeping together. So I really like, ruh-roh, Dash, you might want to have a talk with your gal. So now everybody knows that Dash and Amber are a thing. And then Hetty's like, well, that gives you a motive, Dash, because all this is going on. And then Dash calls Beverly Baby Jane, which is not very nice.
They're not a nice family.
No, they're mean to each other. Either way, Sam and Dean are like, look, we've got 4 corpses. Y'all need to stop arguing, and we need to figure out what the fuck's going on here. And so Dash does point out that we've wanted to kill each other at family gatherings for a very, very long time, but this is the first time there's actually been deaths at them. So maybe Sam and Dean are the problem.
I mean, I would logically say these 2 random strangers that are in my house and now a bunch of people are dead. Yeah, I probably would suspect them.
It's reasonable. Very reasonable. And so he pulls the detective's pistol and...
Ooh, clue! It's the revolver! Yeah. That is our final clue weapon. All right. So, Diana, she has a 50-50 chance of our suspects. All right. So we have determined this is in the Great Lakes. This is the 4 Horseman Rings. And the suspects left are Dean and Sam. So, are you team Sam or Dean? Who is the one who is who has been possessed by Abaddon and is opening a gateway to hell? I mean, frankly, it sounds like either of them.
It does. I'm gonna go Sam.
Womp womp. It was Demon Dean, which is not surprising that he turned into a demon and tried to open the gates of hell. That is probably a side fan fiction somebody's done already.
Probably.
Yeah, except that Dean and Sam are banging. Anyways, all right. So Dash has got his revolver and he tells him he's very good with it because he hunts pheasant.
Yeah, and then he's going to lock them in this weird security office in the house. Yeah, that apparently you can't break out of.
Sure.
because that's what happens. They can't. Like, the door is reinforced. And then this is the moment. This is when they finally look at the fucking silverware they've been using and realize that it's not silver.
Well, because it bends when they're trying to use it to jimmy the lock.
But it's stamped on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on. I've got plated stuff. I know how to check these things. Come on, guys. Anyways. And then they remember also that their silver bullets are in trunks. They don't have access to those either. But
yeah, then, in the parlor, Dash is just being very, very, very unsafe. And they
leaving that pistol or that revolver around.
Yeah. And then they deduce that Sam and Dean are homosexual flannel-wearing murderers, like Leopold and Loeb, but only hotter.
It's a lot. Well, and also that Hetty then calls them trailer trash, and then she talks shit about Baby because it's American made, and that's rude.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. Anyways, Olivia comes in and Hetty's like, hey, you need to call the cops. And she's like, nope, you're a bunch of fucking idiots. If it's not the butler, it's the maid. And she takes the pistol. Well, okay, that's kind of funny. I don't mean like, oh no, and I gasped, but I'm also like, it's kind of hilarious. So
yeah.
These people are dum-dums. So Sam is going through the files in the security office because I guess they don't have anything else to do. And he realizes the security cameras are showing what's happening. So they are watching what's going on in the parlor with no audio themselves. So Olivia's like, I'm not the maid. I'm Bunny's daughter. Boom, boom, boom.
Da, da, da. And she has been living in the attic, which, as they all point out, is fucked.
Super fucked. Super fucked up. They're like, Bunny didn't have a daughter. What are you talking about? She's like, oh no, only Philip and Bunny knew. Philip let her out when Bunny died. What the fuck? So she just wanted to scare Colette. She didn't mean to kill her. She was stealing. And she is just so, like, Olivia was so loyal to Bunny that she couldn't have that happen. And the rest of all the rest of them are just worse than Colette even was. They're all just greedy. But because Olivia accidentally killed Colette, Philip locked her back up. But the cute, dumb one, quote unquote, let her out. So as they're watching all this unfold, Sam and Dean do manage to find a gun safe and keys to it in the security office they're locked in. And Hetty's like, "You're a monster, Olivia." She's like, "You have no idea." And so as Sam and Dean are escaping their space, Olivia is about to start shooting at the family when Sam comes around the corner with a pistol. And so we're going to have a little mini shootout for a second.
And then they have a chase. Then Hetty pees herself.
Yeah. And she says that she said killing Sam is going to be next best thing to killing Bobby. Because Bobby killed her father. So Bunny, we get the whole backstory. We get her monologue actually tells this sordid soap opera tale of Bunny cheated on Lance with a shifter and got pregnant. She told Lance that it was his baby, but then the shifter killed Lance, and then Bobby killed the shifter, and then Bobby agreed with Bunny to spare Olivia if Bunny kept Olivia locked up for safety, which also seems dark and weird for Bobby.
It's real fucked up.
Yeah. And so they agreed to lock her in the attic and then she told her whole family that she lost the baby, but got Bobby to agree to take care of Olivia if Bunny died. What?
Yeah.
So, but that's why she left the key. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so fucked up.
And Olivia's pretty pissed that she's been locked in an attic for all of her life. And yeah. I would say righteously so.
And she's like, And Sam's like, well, then Bobby spared you. And she's like, it would have been kinder to kill me than to leave me living locked in an attic my whole life.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah.
She's like a young adult, right? I mean, her appearance is that she's
She appears to be in her
18,
20s, but Bunny was an
early
old
20s.
Bunny was not a young lady, right?
No.
So,
No.
and also maybe it's a shifter age thing, right? She had to be in there probably 40 20s? Years. I mean, because Bunny had to be at least in her 60s, and I'm pretty sure she was older than that. And so, unless like she had a geriatric shifter baby.
You never know. It's real
it's
weird,
possible.
Though.
But I mean, then Lance believe a geriatric shifter baby? I don't know.
Well, Lance was gray haired when he died, and he was killed by the dad when she was pregnant. So maybe. I don't know. Either way, it's all crazy and awful and weird. And so, anyways, it would have been kinder to kill her than to lock her up, is what she says. And that the choice to become a monster was made for her long ago. Because Sam's like, you can choose to not be a monster. And she's like, that choice was made for me. But
yeah, Sam, she's been locked in an attic for 40 years. She done.
I think her moral compass is probably not like other people's. Right or wrong. I mean, that's not a judgment indictment on her. I'm just saying that's probably not.
She don't know much. She's been in an attic.
Yeah. So Dean comes from behind.
But very well spoken for someone who's living in an attic. I guess Bunny did talk to her.
To know a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dean comes around the corner and just unloads his entire magazine into her.
Yeah, he just excessively shoots her.
It's a lot. So a little later outside the house, they're all walking outside, calling the cops. Sam and Dean are like, we're gonna go. And Dash is like, hey, so sorry, but by the way, you're right. Everything else other than that pendant, everything else in the will was left to Olivia. And Dean's like, here you go. You can have this. Here's this shitty key to the shitty attic.
Enjoy having the shitty key.
Yeah. And Dash is like, oh, how do we thank you? And he's like, how about you just not tell anybody we were here? Okay, bye.
Yep, just keep our secret. And they leave.
Come back for your preppy ass, I think is what he says.
Yes.
But.
And now we go and have the BM, which I'm very glad I can now call it this.
They drive away. And as they're driving, Sam is distraught about the amount of firepower Dean felt like unleashing on Olivia, and asks him, was that demon residue, quote unquote?
Ew. Is that like the angel residue that was inside you?
Ew. Or the mark or something else. And it's just, I'm upset about this. And Dean's like, no, I was just really anxious and I haven't done this in a minute. So I was just excited.
Yeah,
but we're not gonna talk about it. So let's listen to "Traveling Man" by Bob Seger.
Yep, let's listen to Seger. Enjoy Bob Saget.
Yeah. So, you want to hear about this lovely family?
Yeah, let's hear about them.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
All right, our cast. Olivia was played by Isabella Miko, who is Polish. I would like to know that. Anyways, she's been in episodes of Deadwood. She was on an episode of Law & Order SVU, Chicago Fire, The Mick, Criminal Minds, NCIS LA, and Hawaii. She was Cammy in Coyote Ugly. She has a background in dance. So she's actually been in a couple music videos, including a LeAnn Rimes one and Mr. Brightside by the Killers. But that may be uncredited, is what it says. And then she was Athena in Clash of the Titans in 2010 and Alexa in Step Up All In.
Woohoo!
Philip was played by Kevin McNulty. Has been a long career. He's been in episodes of 21 Jump Street a half a dozen times, Party of Five, X-Files multiple times, Smallville, Tin Man, Good Wife, iZombie, Travelers, Magicians, Yellow Jackets, and a handful of times on Schmigadoon.
I will say I'm very tired of the Yellow Jackets commercials because I keep having "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" stuck in my head, and it took me a while to figure out why it was happening. And then I finally saw, God, that's why. So
Funny.
glad he was in Yellow Jackets. Screw that commercial.
Well, he was in Bird on a Wire. He was in the movie Stay Tuned. He was in Ernest Goes to School, Never Ending Story 3. He was in Fantastic Four, Snakes on a Plane, Codename the Cleaner, and The Watchmen. Hetty was played, which I kind of like that name. Anyways, was played by Gillian.
Yeah, but
Bigman.
I had to check to make sure it wasn't Headley.
Oh yeah,
which is a joke from Blazing Saddles too. It's Headley Lamar.
Oh yeah. Hetty was played by Gillian Bigman. She's been in episodes of Scrubs, Mad TV 14 times, so fairly reoccurring in that show. That was one of my favorite sketch comedy shows ever. She has been in Parks and Rec, Californication, Goldberg, CSI, Dr. Ken, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Grown-ish, Tacoma Fire Department, and Grey's Anatomy. She's she had roles in 40-Year-Old Virgin, Deck the Halls, Step Brothers, she was Stephanie in The Hangover 1, 2, and 3. She's in Date Night, and The Holdovers. She's also was a reoccurring character on New Girl named Kim. Beverly was played by Deborah McCabe. She's been in episodes of Degrassi, Next Generation, and Heartland, and was Danica in Saw 3. Amber was played by Claire Philippou, and she's been in episodes of Cedar Cove, iZombie, Siren, and Batwoman. She's also Hannah in Virgin River. Dash was played by Marcus Rosner. He's actually is a producer in a lot of Hallmark Christmas and actor in Hallmark style Christmas and regular just shows, movies. He's also been in Once Upon a Time, Arrow, and Matlock, the new one. Detective Howard was played by Doug Abrams, been in episodes of MacGyver and 21 Jump Street, X-Files, Outer Limits, and Once Upon a Time. He was also in 3,000 Miles to Graceland, Fantastic Four, Scary Movie 4, Fido, Hot Rod, and Man of Steel. And then Stanton was played by Matthew Harrison, been in episodes of True Calling, Almost Human, and Riverdale. Was also in Romeo Must Die, 13 Ghosts, and Night at the Museum, both the Battle of the Smithsonian and Secret of the Tomb. Colette was played by Pippa Mackey, been in episodes of Lucifer, Hell on Wheels, Van Helsing, Magicians, and more.
Yay, Pippa!
Yeah.
Which was a character's name in a show that just came out, which is really funny. So, all right, well, good cast. And so, what did you think?
That was fun. I liked I like the tropes. I mean, so obviously, I don't want to say obviously. I definitely have memories of playing Clue, the board game. I'm also a fan of the Tim Curry movie. Clue. It's one of my favorites of all time.
He was in San Francisco this weekend. He did a talk at Sketchfest because I was owned as it, and he did a talk on Saturday night, and it sold out before I even knew it existed. But yeah, that's the first time he's been out in public in forever. So I need to find out how it went and how he was. But yeah, Tim Curry's alive. He's alive, and he did something. So maybe he'll do something again. I love Tim Curry so much. Yeah, and the original Clue is a fucking masterpiece.
I think it's been a couple months now, so I do remember there was about a week where my regular quote would be like, flames coming out of the side of my face, and that was my quote of the week when I quit smoking. Yeah, if people would ask like how you felt, I'm gonna blank on her name. I should have looked it up because I knew I was gonna mention it, but it's a really just great seeing her talking about her rage at this other woman. I made her mad. She put flames in her face.
Yes.
I guess. Yes, I have felt that in my life. Yeah. So that's what I got. What'd you think of this one?
It wasn't an episode I was looking forward to rewatching, and maybe it is because it's so tropey. Yeah. And so it's a fun episode. I love the tropes, but I don't know how well it holds up.
It doesn't really do anything.
No, it's cute though. I mean, it's a cute story. I'm not mad at it. It took up a week episode, but yeah, it was fine.
It's fine.
It wasn't.
That's what we're going to do. It's fine.
It wasn't a bummer.
No, not bummer. It's not a bummer. I mean, which is kind of weird. It should be a little more of a bummer. A lot of people died in this episode, but they made it not a bummer somehow. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're in a traditional mystery whodunit, there's going to be a lot of bodies. That's kind of the point,
Of course, I know.
And for Supernatural, I mean, the deaths were, pretty tame.
They were.
And they're also I'm not saying you should kill Wasp, but I mean they're not made to be likable characters, right? You're less likely to be upset over the people someone who's yelling at their maid.
The detective didn't do anything. He's just there talking.
Yeah, well, I mean he's a cop, but no, Diana's gonna kill me for saying that. But, I mean the swirly, we'll cut that out.
Doesn't mean anything.
No, but he got a swirly. A swirly of death is the worst way to go. I mean, I think that's awful, but it also makes it funny, so you can't be as sad because it's a swirly.
I get it. They didn't have any hair. Was it really a swirly thing?
Is it called a swirly because the hair goes around?
I don't know. I just assumed. Well, because it's all spiral.
I just thought it was the water, but
I don't know. I just feel like that just adds to the story. It makes it a real. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. No, I just assumed it was the combination of things swirling.
I never thought about the hair, but now I kind of. Does the hair swirl when you put somebody into it? I've never actually put somebody into a swirly.
I don't know. I mean, it was always like a thing on TV. Like you were always like, oh no, somebody's going to do a swirly. But I don't know if people actually gave or received swirlies. And I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I just
were swirlies an urban legend?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure they happened at some point because kids are out.
There was a toilet and there was a Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And someone's like, no, this is the deepest, darkest memory of high school. I'm sure
but I don't think it was I don't think it was the widespread issue that we all were raised to believe it was. That's my take. Either way.
Diana's hot take. Swirlies aren't real.
I feel like that's a safer one than birds.
Birds aren't real. I got you fooled. All right. On those hot takes.
There you go.
We'll see if YouTube bans us for those. Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.